clicking on the podcast. It's Jace. Today's entire episode about Tim McGraw. He's got a brand new song out called Neon Church. We talked to Tim about what he's still chasing in his career. We talked to him about faith. We talked to him about Jesus and whiskey. Are you ready? Let's get started. It's Jace, and we're here with Tim McGraw. Hey, Tim.
How you doing, man?
Today's the day. We've got a brand new song. Tell me about Neon Church.
I just can't wait for people to hear this. It's such a cinematic song and visual song.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to create this world that you felt. It reminded me a little bit of sort of a little darker, not quite as campy, but From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, remember that movie with the bar full of vampires?
Yep.
And it sort of has that sort of vibe to it. But you know, I played a lot of clubs coming up in the years, and when you're up at sort of at the pulpit, so to speak, in the bar, you see a lot of life.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of vignettes and a lot of scenarios play out, and we wanted this song to feel that way. And then we wanted these huge guitars to be all over it, sort of almost a Purple Rain Prince kind of guitar sound that we wanted to capture, and just build this big wall as the song built and built and built and built. Almost like you could feel the flames licking you a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah.
I heard a little church organ in there in the background.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see the same thing in church. You see, as you see in a club sometimes, or in a bar, you know, there's a lot of lost souls, there's a lot of redemption, there's a lot of trying to find yourself, there's a lot of heartbreak, a lot of sadness, and the same thing sometimes in church. Some of the happiest moments of your life and the saddest moments of your life are spent in church. So it's always sort of a push and pull of the good and the bad side of you, I guess.
Let me ask this.
Not that the bar is such a bad side sometimes.
It hasn't been in my experience, but so why this song in 2 years? Do you think about it in that way? Do you think, well, it's been 2 years, so I've got to do this? Or is it just, well, it's just time for another song? One
thing that is done over the 2 years of not recording or not putting out singles, for myself, has been duets with Faith and I, and a product of all of that for this record has been, I think, my singing has gotten to a different level because having to sing with Faith every night for 2 years, because she's one of the greatest singers ever to come along, and she puts so much heat and passion out when she sings. And to have to sing along with her, especially when you're a hack like me, to have to sing along with somebody that talented, one or two things can happen. You're going to fail miserably, or you're going to get better. And if you've ever seen my wife throw a look at me because I missed a note, then you know you better get better.
Oh, she's the boss, huh?
Yeah, she is definitely the boss. But also, you know, having a song that says "I need Jesus" or "I need whiskey" is one of the best opening lines ever in a song, and you couldn't pass that up as a first single. And plus, it had a little dirt and stuff on it. You know, after 2 years of Soul to Soul, I just want to throw a little dirt on me again.
I love that. And since you brought it up, it's time to play a game called Jesus or Whiskey with Tim McGraw.
Uh-oh.
All righty, Tim. Reba and George Strait are over at your house for the Super Bowl, and the power goes out 10 minutes before the game. Do you need Jesus or whiskey?
Oh, you need whiskey for sure.
Faith comes home one night, and she's holding hands with The Rock. Do you need Jesus or whiskey?
I don't know. I need to probably just pack my stuff and leave because I'm done.
LSU loses the national championship when the quarterback fumbles trying to take a knee with a lead. Do you need Jesus or whiskey?
It's still whiskey. You're still on the whiskey there.
For the best movie role ever, this is Oscar potential for Tim McGraw. You have to gain 60 pounds. Wow. Jesus or whiskey in that moment? What do you need?
I would need Jesus because I'd have to make that decision. I don't know if I could. In fact, that happened a couple of years ago. I was asked to play Elvis in the 70s in his full-on sort of putting on weight and big jumpsuit look, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So
really?
Yeah. So
you wouldn't do it?
I couldn't do it, yeah.
Can I ask this body fat percentage right now? Where are you at?
I'm a little high right now. I'm probably about 9. Yeah.
Oh, my God. 9%.
I've been off work for a little while.
Okay, so they told me that we're up to maybe 43 number one singles at this point, 16 number one albums. At this stage in your life, what are you still chasing?
Well, I compete with myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think that I try to learn every time. I try to push myself vocally every time, lyrically every time. Sound-wise, as a producer working with Byron, we try to challenge ourselves to make better records every time and find something different. And better doesn't necessarily mean bigger, but it means different and better and cooler. And I always feel like that I've got a lot more to go and a lot more to learn. I think when I get to the point where I feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm a complete artist and I know exactly what I'm doing and I've got this thing figured out, then if I ever get to that point and I lay down at night and think that that's the case, then that's probably the next morning I should get up and say I'm retiring. So maybe some people get to the point where they feel like that they're done, and that's great. And maybe one day I will get to the point where I feel like I'm done and it's time to walk away. And you know, that wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, I think that I could walk away if I felt like it was the right time.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I just got more in me. Got more gas in the tank.
According to Faith, what is your most annoying habit as a husband?
Oh, let me count the ways. Probably, after 25, 30 years of living in hotels constantly, I'm not very good at cleaning up after myself. Although I like things clean, and I like everything in its place, I'm just not so good at doing it. And putting dishes in the dishwasher is probably a pet peeve.
Okay. So does she clean up after you, or does she tell you need to go in there and fix that?
She'll do both, but you know you're in trouble when she cleans up after you and tells you. Need to go there. If you get one or the other, you're all right because you can figure it out. But if you get both, you're in trouble.
It's Tim McGraw, and his brand new song is called Neon Church. It's available everywhere right now. Can you tell me about when we would expect more music?
With Neon Church, there's another song that we're making available called Thought About You, and typically, what we wanted to do is something a little different. You know, there are people that put sort of a 60s model or A side and B side out. But typically, it's the A side is the single, and the B side is something that's just an album cut that'll never be a single. We wanted to put a song out that was the single and another song that was fighting tooth and nail with the single to be a single. So we wanted to put two songs out right away that either one could have been a single that we went with.
Go pick up Neon Church from Tim McGraw. Tim, it's a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Hey there, I'm LT, Lauren.
Hi, LT. I'm Jason.
Jason, nice to meet you. This is Tim.
Hey, Tim. Good to see you. How are you?
Well?
I'm doing great. Thanks
Where
for
you want
doing
me?
this. Please, and this shirt would be great.
Okay.
Do you need a water or anything? Need a money?
I'm fine.
Jeff, are we rolling?
Just gonna make sure my wife hasn't. Okay.
Tim, I didn't know you were married.
Print out whatever you need.
Kind of the
She tries to get away from me all the time, but I won't let her.
kind of the wise ass of the group here.
No, that's usually me at my house.
So here's what you need to know about my 10 minutes with Tim McGraw. When he comes into the studio, he looks you in the eye, he shakes your hand like I'm doing him a favor instead of the other way around. Humble and cool as can be. And he's got 2 new songs out that you should go and download. Neon Church and Thought About You. What a pleasure chatting with Tim McGraw. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I'm Jace. Come back to this very same spot for more podcasts. And thanks so much for listening.